from an outsider's perspective, David, this really isn't a David Fincher-ish film in a way, because you're known for being a visualist. You always like to find little tricks or make things really challenging, find something challenging for yourself to do. So when you saw this script, which was a lot of people talking on every page, 165 pages, I mean, what made you want to do it?
You know, every story offers different things to kind of mine, and this was, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you don't necessarily have to or want to choose stuff that's kind of in your wheelhouse. You know, sort of hoping to do stuff that's different. And certainly, I knew Mr. Sorkin, I knew Mr. Rudin, I knew Ms. Pascal, and they all said, actually Aaron didn't because he wasn't in the room. They said, "You got to read this because it's an amazing, amazing story," and that was good enough.
What he's most known for is he's peerless as a visual director. I write people talking in rooms, so on the face of it,
And you're peerless at that.
it may seem counterintuitive, this marriage of director and material. And when we started working on it, I went in assuming that David would kind of want the suit tailored to him a little bit. Now, it wasn't the case at all once we got in a room together, which was right away because the thing just happened immediately. It was discussing words in lines. David had completely embraced the fact that it was kind of wall-to-wall language. There's one scene in the movie, a boat race, which it's the biggest action scene I've ever written. It's the only time that there's been one entire page that didn't have any dialogue on it at all that I've ever written. But David and I would, honestly, we would talk about words and we'd talk about these people. Film is based on a number of different people's version of the truth, which I got from a lot of places. You mentioned there were depositions from 2 different lawsuits. There's also obviously Ben Mesrick's book, The Accidental Billionaires, a number of articles, magazine articles that had been written about this, and then I did my own first-person research. But there are a number of different versions of the truth, and rather than pick one and dramatize that one, what I dramatized was the fact that there were a number of different versions of the truth, where everybody's version of the story is slightly different, and everybody's a little bit right and everybody's a little bit wrong.
For you guys, what was it like knowing you were going to work with David Fincher?
It was, you know, it is what it is, whatever.
Tell us.
I was pretty stoked.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the material, I think everybody just came into this looking at the material saying, I think we have something special, and everyone's character was so sort of dynamic in their own way that, you know, it just felt like a great thing to be a part of, and such a great story. Like I said before, like the fact that this just happened, and that it's such a hot button on everybody's mind.
Homepage.
Yeah, homepage, exactly. Yeah, hot button, no pun intended.
So is it true he is to take Fincher?
I knew we were going to do this.
That's where she was going with
Yeah,
this?
I knew there was Ben.
Is it
We
true?
had one scene that we were doing in the, it was after the final Henley Royal Regatta boat race. Harvard loses their race to the Dutch team, and it's this big moment, big emotional moment for the Harvard guys. And it's a long scene, and of course, you know, it's Sorkin, so we're doing walk and talks for the beginning of it. So probably about 3 or 4 pages of ba-da-da, back and forth.
He writes great dialogue.
Yeah. Ba-da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's the musicality of it.
You're gonna love that.
It works. That's how you get 168 pages down to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Also, butter, that takes like 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah. So we did 53 takes of this 3.5-page walk-in talk through this house. And on the 53rd take, Fincher goes, "Cut, print it, erase all the other ones before it. Let's do it again."
in terms of what I hope people take away from it, I'd really rather not have my voice in their head when they go into the theater. I want them going in there with as little baggage as possible. So what I hope is that I compel them for as long as I've asked for their attention, and then there are arguments in the parking lot about what truth is the truth.
Well, that was an interesting thing in terms of you have two sides of a table in a deposition room, and really what we want is to be able to say, no, you guys are absolutely right, because this guy over here is, and then when you're on their coverage, you're going, this side,
Same thing.
these
By the way,
these
literally
miserable.
what David did while shooting, he would go to each actor and tell them, you're right.
We'd catch him as well. I'd catch him talking to Jesse, and he'd be like, you know what, I mean, Andrew's a nice guy and everything, but he is so far off. And then he'd see me, and he'd be like, oh no, but you're right as well.
I want to hear more about your encounter with the Winklevoss twins.
Oh, good, good. We ended up meeting the Winklevoss twins at like a hotel. We show up, it was Josh and myself, and we're just greeted by these two, like,
And they're big guys.
they're
right?
big,
Yeah.
they're big. I mean, they're the same,
big, but
they're the same size as I am, but they're Olympic athletes. They're just big,
So they were very thumbs up about it. They were.
Yeah, very pro the movie. Very excited that they would be represented on film, especially with this guy helming the.
All right, show of hands, does anybody here have a Facebook page?
I used to have a page, yes.
You did?
Yes,
okay,
I did, yes.
So tell.
What about? It's,
Well, I mean, how many friends did you have?
I mean, I'm not going to go into personal things, but...
That's 6.
But no, I think it's great. What a great invention, though, right? Like, what a revolution in how we communicate and how we can get in touch with each other. Like my dad discovered lots of long-lost relatives and all that, and that's kind of great.